It was a stormy night with tornado watches plastered all over the news channel. The wind howling outside created an eerie background music for the night's sinister prank. The house creaked under the strain of the storm, a practical soundtrack for the upcoming shenanigans. Bree, an intelligent and mischievous young woman, was about to set her plan into action. Smirking, she grilled the warning alert from the weather service on her mobile, imitating a tornado warning. Her comical imitation of the alert sound was enough to rouse Decrack from his deep sleep. Decrack, jolted awake, stumbled out of his bed, eyes blurry from sleep and heart pounding from the imminent threat. He tripped and fell onto a pile of clothes, making Bree stifle her laughter. "There's a goddamn tornado!" Decrack bawled as he fumbled around the room, trying to get some pants on in the semi-darkness. His panic-stricken face was an image Bree could hardly keep her chuckles away from. Decrack rushed downstairs, his mind racing and his bare feet slapping against the cold hardwood floor. He was panting heavily, eyes darting everywhere, desperately searching for a safe place. Meanwhile, Bree was watching everything from the stairs, trying her best to keep a straight face. The sight of Decrack in panic was far more entertaining than she'd anticipated. Decrack darted into the kitchen, pulling open cabinets and grabbing canned food. His mind was clouded with the fear of the tornado, his actions fueled by survival instincts. He hastily packed the cans into an old backpack, frantically searching for bottled water next. Seeing this, Bree snickered behind her hand, recording the frantic man on her phone. Decrack scurried to the backyard, digging into the wet mud with bare hands to create some semblance of a makeshift shelter. Mud smeared on his clothes and face, but he was too panicked to care. Seeing Decrack covered in mud, Bree finally burst into laughter. The sound echoed through the silent house, making Decrack stop in his tracks, a puzzled expression replacing his panicked one. "What's so funny?" he asked, puzzled, hands still buried in the mud. Bree couldn't stop laughing long enough to answer and pointed to her phone, still recording the spectacle. Decrack realized the sham when he saw Bree laughing in the recording. "Are you kidding me?" His voice echoed through the stormy night, a mix of relief, anger, and embarrassment. "It's a prank, DK." Bree finally managed to gasp out between fits of laughter. His expression shifted from confusion to understanding and finally to annoyance. Decrack stood up, mud dripping from his clothes, and shot Bree a split-second scowl. Bree, oblivious to his annoyance, was still rolling on the floor, laughing. He stormed back into the house, leaving muddy footprints all over the pristine wooden floor. The storm outside echoed his tumultuous feelings, adding to the dramatic effect. Bree finally controlled her laughter and followed the trail of mud to find Decrack in the bathroom, washing the mud off his arms and face. His annoyance was palpable. "Was it funny?" he asked, his voice filled with quiet irritation. Bree bit her lips to keep from laughing again. "Yes, it was," she admitted unabashedly. Decrack rolled his eyes but couldn't help a small smile from creeping onto his face. "You owe me a clean-up," he muttered, pointing towards the muddy trails leading out of the bathroom. Bree grinned. Deal. And with that, the tornado prank was wrapped up, leaving behind a stormy night, a muddy house, a grinning prankster, and an annoyed yet sporting victim. The night was far from over. The clean-up process beckoned. Bree put on some music, grabbed a mop and started cleaning, singing along to the rhythm of the night. Decrack, dressed in fresh clothes, joined Bree in the clean-up. The atmosphere was laden with laughter and shared glances, the storm outside forgotten. They slipped and slid on the wet floor, laughing. They cleaned, chatted, and laughed, turning the once chaotic evening into a night to remember. The wind whistled outside, joining in their little symphony of joy and camaraderie. The storm started to subside, a soft drizzle replacing the violent downpour. The house was spotless again, but the memories of the prank would forever be engraved within its walls. They finally collapsed on the couch, exhausted but content. The night unfolded into a peaceful silence, the earlier calamity a distant memory. The storm outside had lost its sting. They shared a blanket, eyes heavy with sleep. Decrack yawned, his annoyance completely vanquished. "You owe me for this, Bree," he muttered before sleep claimed him. Bree smiled, watching him drift off. "Maybe another prank, DK?" she whispered, her eyes twinkling with mischief. And as the last echoes of the storm petered, a new plot began to take shape. No response came from the sleeping man, but Bree knew she'd find a way to make it up to him, perhaps with a prank of his own. After all, every storm was followed by a rainbow, As sleep began to claim her, Bree reflected on the evening's events. The tornado prank was one for the books, and though the storm had passed, another was brewing. The storm of pranks. Under the chorus of the night and the calming rhythm of the rain, both prankster and pranked slipped into slumber. As the dawn broke, the stormy night evolved into a clear day, hinting at more hilarity to come. Bree and D.K. Rack, the duo known for their endearing pranks, were once again ready to turn an ordinary day into an extraordinary memory. After all, life was but a collection of such unforgettable moments. The tornado prank had been a wild ride, leaving D.K. Rack covered in mud and Bree in fits of laughter. The memory of it would forever bring a smile to their faces. A stormy night turned into an unforgettable adventure. As the sun rose, marking the end of the storm, one thing was certain: Bree and D.K. Rack's home would never be a dull place. After all, who knew when the next storm of pranks would hit? The duo had a day full of clean-ups and laughter ahead, but for now they slept peacefully, unaware of the upcoming shenanigans. The storm was over, but their adventure was just beginning. So as the dawn broke, the house was once again quiet. The storm had passed, leaving behind a clear sky and a tranquil morning. But inside the house, the seeds of another prank had been sown, ready to sprout when the time was right.